It's Christmas-ish, so let's enjoy everybody's favorite series about wizards. I'm sure this needs no intro, but we're gonna do one anyway. Fantastic Beasts is a series that expanded the wizarding world to corners no one asked for. We're gonna explore those corners today, in this very video. For some background, I watched all three of these movies in theaters. I remember like 40% of the first one, 25% of the second one, and like 10% of the third one. So even though this isn't a first watch, my shoddy memory will make it like a 1.5-ish watch. Also, I am a casual Harry Potter fan, meaning I'll probably flub some stuff here. So go easy on me. Or don't, who cares? And finally, let me lay out the outline for this video. We'll do quick summaries of these films one by one, with added analyses and/or improvements between. And as per the usual, I'll be writing this script as I'm watching, so notes for one film might be nullified by a sequel. But I'm keeping everything in to preserve the sanctity of the story we're building, together, as a family. Let's do it. Newt Scamander takes a boat to New York City, and right off the bat, I don't know why he didn't use flue powder or a port key or apparate. Also, he has a suitcase full of eldritch horrors. Ooh.
Let me take a look.
We meet this lady who hates witches, Ezra Miller who hates the law, and Jacob Kowalski, a muggle. Newt and Jacob switch suitcases due to hijinks, so Tina Goldstein arrests Newt and takes him to the slammer. But since Newt's suitcase is just full of pastries, he's let go. I don't know why they didn't just extract his memories. Stupid. Memory sauce seems pretty busted. Nobody should ever be able to lie, because you can just slurp their sauce out and see for yourself what's true or false. Oh hey, Jon Voight is in this movie. Wow, what else has he done recently? Yikes. Jacob opens Newt's suitcase and uh-oh, the horrors have escaped. Tina and Newt bring Jacob to Tina's apartment, where we meet her sister Queenie, who can read minds. She's not important. Yet. Newt's suitcase is a pocket dimension, which we'll circle back to. Newt and Jacob go on a whimsical adventure to recapture magical creatures, while Credence gets beaten with a belt. Tina turns in Newt and Jacob to the magic police, but it kinda backfires when they think Newt is behind a string of murders in the city. See, the creature killing people is an obscurus, which is what happens when a wizard suppresses their magic. They turn into a goo monster, murk a few people, then die. At age 10-ish at most. Also, Newt has one, so obviously the police think he's the culprit. This guy Graves unilaterally sentences Tina and Newt to death without trial or paperwork. The wizarding world kinda blows, huh? Tina and Newt escape along with Jacob, and Queenie is there too, I guess. They all go on an adventure to capture the last whimsical beast, while Credence gets slapped around and yelled at. Credence reveals himself as the Obscurus, and goes sicko mode across the city. He beats Graves, but is calmed down by Newt and Tina. Oh, the cops are here. I'm sure they'll de-escalate the... Graves for some reason decides that he's going to fight 500 wizard cops by himself, which he somehow starts to win? Oh, Newt's got him. And it turns out, Johnny Depp.
Yo, killing me with this!
Muggles now know wizards exist, so Newt uses a bird and a potion to wipe the entire city's memory. Hooray! But oh no, Jacob's memory has to be wiped too. Oh well. It's a bittersweet ending, but hey, it's pretty cool to see consequences. Right? So this is the best it's gonna get. And it is good. I like this movie. The acting is good, the whimsy is good. I'm glad we didn't return to Hogwarts or lean heavily on past characters / nostalgia. But this movie isn't flawless, and the cracks here that turn into riffs later are indicative of a weakness J.K. Rowling suffers from. Atop worse ones, of course. The flaw I'm referring to now, though, is that J.K. Rowling can't stop breaking her own universe. See, from a writing perspective, you have to be very careful about what concepts you introduce. Because the less limits you place on your world, the less that world should look like ours. and the more legwork is required to explain how people navigate a reality unlike our own. The Wizarding World is less interested in creating a photo book and more interested in giving snapshots. Newt takes a boat because it's an old-timey movie, even though that's a waste of time, and especially strange coming from someone who struggles to connect with / interact with people. Pocket dimensions exist because they're cool, even though they should kinda be more prevalent, especially considering the secretive nature of the Wizarding World. Credence is an obscurist because he's just so strong that he lived longer, which... Okay, for this one, wouldn't that make him die faster? If it's about suppression of power, shouldn't a weaker wizard be less dangerous to themselves than others? Whatever. But the worst offense is the finale. Rowling wrote herself into a corner because now everyone knows about magic. So the bird makes sky juice that makes everyone forget. Cool, fine. But that doesn't make sense because 1, we're shown that being inside protects you from the memory wipe. 2, we see wizards outside who aren't affected by the wipe somehow. And 3, the entire city is going to be missing a chunk of hours from the exact same time slot. That would trigger an investigation and put heat on the wizarding community for years, right? I could poke holes in this movie forever, but let me put my money where my mouth is and instead offer improvements. And as an added challenge, I won't repeat the stuff I already talked about. So, number 1, combine Jon Voight and Credence's mom. Credence's mom hates witches and wants to find out more about them. Jon Voight owns a newspaper. Put these two in that machine from The Fly and combine them right now. That way, Credence's storyline is more intrinsically linked to the exposure of wizards, and we trim a little fat from this movie. Number 2, make Graves a third party. Graves is Grindelwald, who is a less attractive predecessor to Voldemort. He's able to fool the cops by shapeshifting or using Polyjuice Potion or whatever. The point is to show how crafty he is, but honestly it just shows how stupid the magic cops are. How you gonna let someone that high up get impersonated when memory sauce and truth soda exist?
Stupid!
You're gonna tell me with a straight face that there's no quick spell to check who's who?
I don't know!
If not, you're
Try!
And you deserve whatever happens to you. If Graves is a hired hand, or let's say a cop wizard from Europe, then it would make more sense why he can be impersonated, and more sense why he operates so independently. Also, his execution order should either A, be carried out by his own underlings who are clearly separate from the magic cops, or B, be carried out by fanatical magic cops who have been swayed by his demagoguery. Introducing obvious systemic issues and kinda just hand-waving them is a strange choice. Well, I guess not that strange for JK. Number 3, make Tina stronger. Throughout this movie, Tina is useless. But she doesn't have to be. How about we make her a dueling prodigy? How about when she first encounters Newt, instead of just taking him in, he tries to run and they get into a quick fight where she outclasses him. Then before she recaptures him later, they again fight and she just dominates him. I like the idea of Tina being the muscle of the group, but also being a hothead who rushes in because of her innate skill. That way she's not just kinda hanging out for a lot of this movie. Whew. Could I go on? Yeah, probably. Will I?
Absolutely not.
On to the squeakquel. Alright, so Grindelwald is in prison. They cut out his tongue, which seems unethical, but whatever. He's getting extradited to Europe, but they're using thestrals because teleportation unfortunately just doesn't exist in this universe. Of course Grindelwald escapes. Also, what is this pet lizard thing? He didn't have it in the last movie. Is it a friend the magic police give to all prisoners? Anyway, Grindelwald throws it away to show he's a bad guy. But then he spares this guy to show that he's a good guy? Question mark? Oh boy, it's already bad. But wait! This guy is a minor character in the first movie who has presumably switched sides. I like that. Flowers earned, flowers given. Newt gets pressed by the Ministry of Magic to help find Credence, who survived in a way that was super unclear. I thought this little clip was showing the last of Credence dying, not him surviving. Also, I thought Obscurials burn out eventually, but he's survived another 9 months? Hello? Anyway, Newt meets his old classmate and brother's fiancée, Lita Lestrange. Up-close camera work to show the awkward POV of a neurodivergent person. I like that. Flowers earned, flowers given. Familiar faces show up and ooh boy. Queenie is mind-controlling Jacob, which has some incredibly dark implications that J.K. Rowling does not care to explore. Queenie is mad that she and Jacob can't get married because of American laws, but, just move.
Stupid.
Just go to Europe.
Stupid.
Also, Jacob remembers the first movie because the 19 inches of venom only removed bad memories. And I guess Jacob liked what he saw. Hopefully everyone else in New York was having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, or else they're also gonna remember everything. Anyway, everybody goes to Paris to find Tina, who is hunting Credence. Credence is hanging out with this lady, who is Nagini from the future movies, because that adds a lot to Nagini's character. He and Nagini escape the circus they're in while Tina, do something for God's sake! Tina meets Kama, a guy we'll get to. Newt shows up and makes a hologram that tells him where Tina went. Credence meets his former babysitter, who is this lady.
You were so beautiful, baby. And you are a beautiful man.
Hey yo, what you trying to do? But she's immediately killed by a ministry operative who's secretly working for Grindelwald. We will never see this man again. Newt and Jacob find... Oh my god, Tina was captured? They playing with my girl's name, bruh. Newt and Jacob get captured too, but Kama's brainworm knocks him out at the exact right moment.
Oops.
They extract it though, don't you worry your beautifully tiny head. After some shenanigans, including meeting an immortal alchemist...
Are you a ghost?
Dan Fogler is the best thing about these movies. Anyway, after some shenanigans, our heroes' paths converge at the Lestrange tomb, and we get some... revelations. This whole time we thought Credence was Lita and Kama's half-brother, but actually Lita got that brother killed by switching him out for another baby because that baby was a jerk.
Got it.
Okay, but Kama made an unbreakable vow to kill the person closest to Lita's dad's heart, not his half-brother specifically. So shouldn't he still have to kill someone? Also, how does that work? Does he just have to keep killing until he feels a release, like I do? I mean, what? Moving on. Grindelwald is having a party next door, so our heroes mosey on over. Old Grindel takes a bong hit, then projects a vision of World War II, which he claims to want to prevent. I don't remember the third movie enough to know if this is fact or fiction, but either way, this is something the Ministry should at least investigate. Whatever. G. Wald makes big fire. Queenie sides with fascism for Jacob despite Jacob, while Lita dies. Credence also sides with fascism because he's somehow still not dead or even dying. I don't know what's happening there. Our heroes fight fire with fire and somehow win. G-Dep then reveals that Credence is actually a Dumbledore. What? Alright, if memory serves, this is the weirdest of the trilogy. There are so many weird choices that I just don't know why they exist. Like Grindelwald and Dumbledore's no-homo necklace that prevents them from fighting. Or Queenie's sex crimes. Or Lita's dad's sex crimes. Or when Grindelwald summons his followers by putting silk over the entire city for like a few seconds, I guess? This movie feels like a fever dream. It's a series of unfortunate events that barely string together a story that is at best muddy. Also, is this whole thing in a pocket dimension or not? Cause Tina used a portal here, but Grindelwald tries to destroy Paris later. Did Muggles see the fire dragon? Are wizards out now? I don't know. J.K. Rowling doesn't know either. It's honestly hard to even discuss this movie because of how disorganized it is. So let's take a deep breath and start small by insulting the writer. J.K. Rowling, at least in this film, is lazy. What do I mean by that? At one point, Newt shows up in Paris to hunt down Tina. He does so by creating a magic hologram that replays an earlier scene. That's boring. And not only is it boring, it cuts the audience out of the equation by introducing an ability we didn't even know existed. And breaks the universe because this ability should be used by all investigators everywhere to solve crime instantly. How about we start our fix with this scene? Or rather, the one prior. How about we see the circus and Nagini and Credence, but we don't see Tina? And the scene cuts before the action starts. Then, when Newt arrives, instead of a hologram, He poses as an Auror and extracts memory sauce from various onlookers. But he has to piece together multiple perspectives to paint a full picture, and in the last, he, and we for the first time in this movie, see Tina. That way the audience follows along and uncovers the secret as our hero does. There are plenty of other changes I'd make, but they'd fundamentally change the arc of this series, so I'll leave those alone. For this movie, let's just do one quick change and combine the bounty hunter, Lita, and Kama. Lita should be in Paris hunting Credence as a bounty hunter, but she's not secretly working for Grindelwald. The case is personal to her for obvious reasons, so she can clash with Newt and the gang in the same way Kama does, minus the unbreakable vow. Removing Kama simplifies the overly complex tomb scene and makes Lita a way more prominent character in the movie. Thus her death is more impactful and the script is much tighter. Alright, one more. Newt finds this thing, which is a chillin. It has a kid that gets kidnapped, then gets murked. But ooh, what do we have here?
There is another.
Well, I guess they'll be raised differently. Jacob gets pulled from his bakery back into action by this lady, Lolly, who talks funny.
Whoopsie, Frank. Sometimes I forget my own strength.
Our team for this movie consists of Jacob, Lolly, Newt, Bunty, who is Newt's assistant, Kama, who won't matter at all, and Theseus, Newt's brother. Now you're probably wondering, where's Nagini?
Shut up!
Anyway, our heroes visit the German Ministry of Magic, I think, where Theseus is immediately captured by Grindelwald's boys and thrown in prison. Meanwhile, Dumbledore fights Credence in a dream, maybe? Or like an alternate reality? He then reveals that they're related, but not brothers. Newt rescues Theseus from a black site that is... What's with J.K. Rowling in introducing horrifying concepts then just moving on? It's so strange. The team are figuring out what to do next, and is that McGonagall? Why is she not moving? Is she part of the background? We learn that Credence is Dumbledore's nephew via his brother Aberforth, who canonically has a surprising history with goats. Dumbledore recalls a three-way duel between him, Aberforth, and Grindelwald that ended with his and Aberforth's sister getting murked. Okay, stop. So, if Dumbledore and Grindelwald made a no-homo pact, then it had to have been after this duel, right? Because otherwise they couldn't have fought. But why would they make a pact after Dumbledore got his sister murked? I would think that would be one of, if not the catalyst for their falling out. Am I missing something here? Who cares, it's time for wizard elections. Jacob forgives Queenie for being a fascist, which, whatever. The Chillin can apparently see into souls and judge who's pure of heart, so it'll decide the election. G-Swizzle has reanimated his so he can trick everyone into thinking he's cool, which works, and he wins! Success! Then he announces that everyone's going to war and people cheer for some reason? But uh-oh, the real Chillin is here and it kneels to... Dumbledore?
Huh?
Past fascist and future liar/child endangerer Dumbledore? Bro, get this movie out of my eyeballs. Grindelwald tries to kill Credence, who's here by the way, and Dumbledore stops him despite that being the entire point of their no-homo lockets. They fight in a dream, I guess, then Grindelwald dips while Credence and Ezra Miller's career wither away. The Chillin kneels to this lady, then the crowd cheers for no war? I don't know, dude. The movie ends with Jacob and Queenie getting married. Wait, I thought that was illegal. Does anything matter anymore? What is this? Why is this? Look, this movie might not be the weirdest, but it is the worst. The scenes are barely related, Tina shows up at the end for 30 seconds, Kama does nothing, there's so much wrong here. It's a franchise killer, to be frank. The pandemic is a likely culprit for at least some of the movie's missteps, but it cannot be denied that the series was already on a downward arc. So I feel safe in saying that this is the natural conclusion of Rowling's flaws as a writer. The bloat we've mentioned from the other two, the introduction of the new instead of refining of the old, and mysteries that are rather boringly solved. To put it more elegantly, this film is big doo-doo. I definitely can't fix this, but I can improve it. First, the concept for this movie is that in order to combat Grindelwald's ability to see into the future, our heroes have to implement Dumbledore's plan without knowing what it is. But not only does that rob them of any agency, it doesn't make sense. Grindelwald doesn't read minds, he sees the future. If Dumbledore has a plan, why wouldn't Grindelwald just see that plan? Also, even if Dumbledore was winging it, wouldn't Grindelwald just see the most likely future? There are two ways to solve this problem. Either make Grindelwald's far-seeing ability less powerful, which seems feasible since last movie he had to hit a wicked bong rip to see anything, or just make Lolly a seer too and have that be a hard counter. I think it makes sense to have two seers be so chaotic to the flow of time that it negates both their abilities. Either way. Second, don't make the Qilin kneel to Dumbledore. He's too morally gray to be pure of heart. Make it kneel to Jacob. That would be the perfect refutation of Grindelwald's beliefs and proof that Muggles aren't inferior. Easy. Also, the Qilin should not kneel to anyone except Jacob. Doing so lessens the impact of the reveal by making the Chosen less special. Third, for whatever reason, Catherine Waterston was written out of the movie. Whether it was her speaking out against Rowling, or long COVID, or scheduling issues, doesn't really matter for this video. But even if she is in a reduced role, how about we make what time we have with her worth it? Have her be in the running for Supreme Leader. She can replace one of the candidates. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. Either way, she gets slightly more screen time without being too involved. A change like that and the others would make the movie better, but they're band-aids on bullet wounds. This movie is broken. And so is the series, conceptually. Because I think pretty much everyone agrees that this franchise should have been a set of loosely connected anthology stories instead of one narrative. Newt had his tale told in the first movie. The second should have followed a second character, and the third a third. Unlike others, however, I think centering this series around Dumbledore and Grindelwald can work. I just also think that the players on the field should shift around them. How about we get Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is the same as the OG, then Johnny Depp's and How to Stop Them, which can feature a new hero, let's say an animagus who can turn into a bird or a wolf or an octopus, and then The Crimes of Ezra Miller can star a third hero that's a battle mage or something. And we can have recurring cast members that keep us connected to the overall narrative, while introducing new protagonists for new perspectives.
Nice.
Thus creating a story that is larger and grounded in familiar faces. That is this franchise's fatal flaw. It simultaneously grew beyond Rowling's capabilities as a writer, while trying to maintain its hold on characters that had no business being as important as they were. Fantastic Beasts needed to pace its lore and plot better, so that the narrative wouldn't feel so jumbled and we as an audience wouldn't feel so confused. Also, were they fighting in a genjutsu? Please tell me I don't know what's happening. That's all for this one. Like and subscribe, because I've got more rewrites, fixes, and essays in the works. And until then, cheers!